All right, we are back on the Andre Duke Show with Carter Smith, and I got Richie today. Richie, how we doing, man?
Hey Duke, hey man, hey it's hate week with those cheaters up north.
Yes, yes, it is.
Best week of the year.
Yeah, a lot of big games this week. Before we recap everything, we got a graphic that I want to share with everybody. That's not going to get a lot of attention. Eddie George wins Coach of the Year at Tennessee State. Producer Ed here's got this for us. There's been a lot said about certain other coaches in the that are out there in the sphere. Eddie George is relatively under the radar. I believe he went 8-3 or 8-4, something of that sort at Tennessee State. I think that's a huge accomplishment, and he's not. He ain't getting near the love Deion Sanders is.
I know. I wonder why is that?
Just really, really strange, and it's something the mainstream media is probably not going to talk about. But I just figured we would shed some light on that, and then
He's gonna get some looks this coaching carousel off season.
yeah, I'm hoping so. I'm hoping.
I do too.
I hope Eddie can get some traction going. I just think it's there's a couple other coaches out there that get tons and tons and tons of traction and tons of love in the limelight and aren't doing a good a job as Eddie George has. So, but with that being said, Rich, I haven't seen you since last week, last Friday. We had some games go on. What did wanted to pick your brain on some of those that we got here? Ohio State, Indiana. What was some of your big takeaways from that?
I would say the offensive line. I think how they had to put a emergency offensive line together to go up against Indiana last Saturday. They played the offensive line played very well with the missing pieces. With who got injured? McLaughlin. Yeah, what's his name?
Uh, Seth McLaughlin.
Yeah, but who replaced him?
Carson Hinsman.
Hinsman. I knew my mind's been elsewhere the last week, but I thought they played really well. I knew it was going to be that type of a game for Ohio State against playing Indiana. I mean, I called it. Well, I feel like I kind of called the score a little bit. I was maybe off by a couple points here or there, but hey, man, Ohio State played a heck of a game last week, and I think they're going to carry that momentum into this week. Even though it's a rivalry game, people are going to say, "Oh, Ohio State's all talented," but it's a rivalry game. Rivalry games, the outcome, it's the air, the mood, the feel. It's different compared to the other games. So I think it's going to be a tightly contested match come Saturday in the shoe. But that place is going to be rocking again.
Oh yeah, and without a doubt, the horseshoe was rocking. You had a couple of little tidbits there. I did see on Twitter the ESPN Chicago, or not Chicago, the ESPN Cleveland guys are highly upset at Will Howard for putting out the cigarette.
No one paid. I saw that. I think Chris retweeted that. I was like, those slapdicks. Will Howard is a Buckeye in my eyes. Like, what do you call Justin Fields? Is he a Buckeye? He only played two? He played 2 seasons at Ohio State.
Yeah,
Will Howard and Will. I mean, to me, he's been the missing key part in that Ohio State team. You need to have a quarterback with some fire in their belly, some moxie to him. That's what Ohio State lacked last year. McCord, he just went through the motions, in my opinion. Is he good? Is he a talented kid? Yes, but he didn't have that fire, that intensity as JT, JF1, Haskins, Braxton, Cart, all those guys that were quarterbacks, in years past of Ohio State. Will Howard's it, man. He's bought into everything. He calls them the team up north. When they play Michigan State, he's like, I want to get the hell out of this state. And to go on you know on camera last week and say he wants to beat that team up north for the guys that came back for the state of Ohio. I've been behind the kid since he transferred. I think the kid has it. And the other thing too is he's not getting any attention with the Heisman. He's putting up the same numbers Dylan Gabriel as Dylan Gabriel. But that's another story for us to talk about. Um, and I think I did see something on Twitter where he had almost the exact same numbers as Troy Smith.
I got a comment here. My guy Tyler Siskey of Siskey and McCready. Tyler. There's definitely going to be some turkey loaves had. That's what we're doing. Happy Thanksgiving to you, brother. I'll probably chat at you soon. But I will say, since Tyler is tuned in tonight, we're awaiting the rankings tonight. We've got the crazy thing is that I predicted we'll transition to another game here, but I predicted the Ole Miss going down to bowl game Billy Napier in mid-October. I told somebody that, and they just told me don't put the cart before the horse. And I could tell you, you know what, we were riding on that cart like Boomer Sooner all over the Alabama Crimson Tide. Jalen Milroe, one of the things that I think is tough in this Alabama situation, I watch other things that people that have intimate knowledge and know people there. I feel like it's unfair to the kids almost that are there and the coaches, because they have to go through and try to replace, a guy that has statues around the building. And, I think, one of the biggest things I've learned in doing this content thing, Rich, here is that, when you say you should fire somebody, you don't quite understand the implications. And we're coming up on Thanksgiving. The implications that, the statements and stuff like that, that the weight that those things carry. I mean, Ryan Day said that, outside of losing his father this week, losing the game to Michigan is, one of the toughest situations him and his family's had to go through. And I think that's a very telling statement. And, Twitter gives everybody a voice, and, some people can use that for a positive mindset, but a lot of negative. I mean, you can read our YouTube comments and they're relatively negative. So I think sometimes people need to take into consideration, like at the folks at Alabama, they have great coaches. Kalen DeBoer's won everywhere he's went. He brought in a guy like Kane Womack. I mean, Alabama's, top 20 in every defensive category, and they've just had some bad games. I mean, even when they beat Georgia, the fans kept on saying, well, Nick would have never let him come back. Fire him. The dynasty's over. And you had
Blitz, Bama, blitz.
And then you have people, I've never met Paul Feinbaum. This is a Turkey Loaf channel only show. Yeah. Yes, Turkey Loaf. One of the biggest things is with that the Feinbaum thing is that it's pushed out into huge circles, and he just says a lot of dumb stuff at times, and he likes to get the people riled up. I mean, would you agree to that, Richie?
I would agree with that statement, Duke. Paul Feinbaum, I mean, he's an SEC homer through and through. The shit he says, he's trying to get people riled up and try to have them come with pitchforks and torches to get the coaches fired. And I don't pay attention to him because He's a dill rod.
To me, it's just wild that you have. And the other thing too is that these coaches put in so much time into this,
Yes.
and I just feel like the Alabama situation is so toxic, it's so unwinnable because you look down the road at 90 miles over at Auburn with Hugh Freeze, and a lot of people were ready to run Peyton Thorne out of town, and he goes out and he comes back and beats Texas A&M, which was another big shocking win over the weekend, and I liked Auburn in that. Paul Feinbaum puts mayonnaise on his turkey loaf. That explains a lot. That explains a
Yeah, it
lot.
does.
But you got Captain Hugh Freeze over there, and people could say what they want about Hugh, but I feel like Hugh's got huge momentum. And Tyler, yes, I think Hugh not for coach of the year, but yes, Marcus coach of the year because on another end of it, Marcus Freeman has done a phenomenal job outside of all of the circumstance that he's went through this year. Northern Illinois, and they've just been going on the road either at home or away and just completely blowing people out. And I'm interested to see what this Notre Dame team can do in the playoffs. What say you, Rich?
I agree with that, Duke. Because they have rebounded since that loss against the mighty Huskies out of Northern Illinois. I'm, I think they're going to be a tough contender come the playoff. Because he's got them playing, like I said, great ball. They're coming out, they're kicking doors in, they're taking people's lunches, taking their lunch money. He's got them rolling. He's got them where they need to be. They're coming in hot. I, I think they may have a shot now to the national championship. I wouldn't say that, but I think they can do. I think they're going to be competitive come the playoff. What's it? Riley Leonard? He's been playing good.
Yeah.
The defense has been playing great.
Notre Dame has been, this was something that me and Carter talked about early in the year. As long as they run the ball well and play great defense, that's a formula that's tough to beat by anyone's standard. So I think that Marcus Freeman and the fellas are gonna get it together. It's been an interesting season. It was a huge letdown. But also at the other end of the token, they came off of a highly, highly emotional win on the road at Texas A&M, and Texas A&M has every shot to make it to the SEC championship game. I just cannot, in a world that we're looking at this playoff landscape. I think that it's going to get interesting, and I think the committee is going to be begging for them that the teams themselves sort this out to make it cut and dry.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think you're going to have a lot of awkward conversations. We look at some of the teams in the playoff. We've got Indiana. Do they deserve to be in the playoff? Their only losses on the road at Ohio State, where Ohio State never loses at home.
Right.
You could argue, Tennessee. It's if Tennessee wins out, Indiana more than likely they're going to give Purdue more than that they can handle. Do they look at things like, does the ACC get two bids now because SMU came on? There's a lot of factors that are shifting, and we're only going into it at the very end of the week or the year. So I just think that where this puts us, it potentially could either solve itself completely out or just muddy the waters completely, because I look at some of the road games. Like, look at Georgia's road games for the year that they had to play at Ole Miss, at Texas. It's just a wild endeavor. And yeah, we'll have producer Ed pop up the playoff graphic as we see fit that we've got rolling for this evening, because that show, I believe, kicks off at 8. And we'll go down the rung here. So out of the first 6 teams there, Rich, what is your takeaway on that? I mean, 1 and 2, you can't
One and
really
two. You can't argue with 1 or 2. Even Texas at 3. I like where Notre Dame's at. Penn State, they were 4 last week, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think where Penn State is at is a good spot for them too. Miami at 6. I mean, they had the one bad loss against Georgia Tech. I mean, that's only one, but they got who they got this week. Let me see who they got.
But I'm
They got
not
Syracuse. I mean, yeah. I mean, they gotta play Honda McCord. We'll see if he doesn't shoot himself in the foot and he can play. But
yeah, I think that we've got. I have no disagreement with Oregon 1, Ohio State 2. They're essentially going to play in the seeding, but it's going to be either one's going to be 5 or the other one's going to be 1.
right.
So Ohio State can't argue that they had a dominant win on the road. Texas is, I don't know.
I don't know, man. It's going to be shaky when they play A&M this weekend.
I'm not sold on Texas.
I'm not either. I mean, if Texas wins that game, if A&M wins that game, it's going to throw everything. They're going to throw a wrench in everything with the SEC.
So, I guess I understand why they have Texas 3, but I just don't think I would put Texas 3. That's just my personal opinion.
I say you flip-flop the 2 between Texas and Notre Dame.
Yes, and I think Penn State moves back just because they had a close game with Minnesota.
Right, yep.
Penn State's another one that I don't necessarily trust. In crunch time, late in the game, I'm not a big Penn State fan. I'm not a big believer. I don't think Drew Aller can throw you to a victory. I get it. Playing on the road at Minnesota is a tough place to play. It is not ideal. And yes, zero wins with the team with a winning record. That is a very good point there, Tyler. And then it moves. As we move down to Miami. Oh, that is Texas? Yeah. Because I think Texas's biggest win is Arkansas. They put it last week as Texas's key win was Arkansas, which is wild. And then if you look at Tennessee, that's one of their key losses. So which one is it? And Texas only beat them by 10. I heard Neil McCready say today that he's not sold on them. So I'm not either. I'm not high on Texas. I think they have a Quinn Ewers problem, and I think that Sark is going to be itching to play anybody but Quinn Ewers. I think he wants to play Arch, but he just can't do it. I think it would lose the locker room if he played Arch.
Right. I would agree.
But Miami, I think Miami and SMU are in a dogfight in the ACC championship game. I think it's going to be a one-bid league because I just don't trust the committee to hold their word on that they're not going to hold conference championship games against them. So I think Miami's perfectly rated at 6. I think they're a better team than Penn State. For me, Miami Notre Dame would be a good matchup. Styles make matchups. Notre Dame, great defense, runs the ball really well. Could you imagine a Miami team coming on the road to South Bend in
the snow?
Yes.
That's just something you dream about, just playing on College Football 25. Seeing somebody from the deep South, like or Florida, just coming up and playing in like the cold, harsh elements in the northern part of the country. I mean that's something people have been dreaming about, and it gets like as a football fan, that's something you want to see.
Right. And I think that when it comes to the teams in the deep south like Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama, it gets cold down there. It just doesn't snow because of the humidity. Um, you know, you have that element of it. Do I think it's a huge deal breaker? I think these coaches are paid well enough and they've been around, well traveled enough to where they could figure out how to deal with the elements and things of that sort. But we're 20 minutes in. Before we get to the next rung, everybody out there watching on Twitter, watch it on Twitter, come on over to YouTube and check out, come get involved in the chat. We got Tyler in here. They're asking questions, getting involved here. So, and if you could give us a like and subscribe, we're trying to blow this thing up. That'll help us a ton. We're just out here. We love talking college football with everybody. And then Cigaro Lounge in Hubbard, Ohio, we're going to be doing a live show. Me, Richie, and Carter, we're going to be doing the podcast live from the Cigar Lounge, full bar. Steve, the owner, is going to be there. It's going to be a great time up in Hubbard, Ohio, just outside of Youngstown, December 7th.
Dude, that's next Saturday, man.
Yes, that is next Saturday.
Holy shit.
Conference championship weekend. That's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be there hanging out, having a couple of cigars, watching the conference championship games. It's going to be a good time. So if you're in the area, stop on by. You can see me, Richie, and Carter. The podcast is going to be at noon. We'll, probably go for 45 minutes to an hour, and then we'll be hanging out the rest of the time, getting to know everybody and checking out the lay of the land.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I think it'll be a good time. Steve's he's had that place, I believe, a year or so. Local guy, good guy. It's a nice little spot where he has what he has. I haven't been to it personally yet, but I'm looking forward to it. Just wanting to support a local business, especially when it comes to cigars. Duke, I know you had a great time. At Cigar 30 earlier this month when you, Carter, and myself were there. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, Cigar 30. The people there were tremendous. Hosted us in the podcast. We had a great time hanging out there, getting to know. Met a lot of their members in the members only lounge. It was a good time. So, with that being said, Rich, let's dive back into it. Georgia, number 7. Do you see any issue with the Dogs being number 7?
Georgia. They're trying to hang. They're trying to keep an SEC team relevant.
I don't think so. I think Georgia's good. I think Georgia's better than Texas.
Better than who?
Texas.
Yeah, I say they're. Oh yeah, they're definitely better than Texas. I'm just 6. No, they're at 7. I'm sorry.
7.
Yeah, because they did beat Texas. They kicked the hell out of them. To me, I would flip Georgia with 3 with Texas. Move Texas's ass down to 7.
So you think Georgia is the number 3 team in the country right now? Yeah, I'll agree with you on that one. The strange one is Tennessee at 8. A lot of people have been down on the Vols for the most part, just for the simple fact of they're not blowing up offensively. They're not, putting up a 70 burger each week. That's what everybody's thinking with Heupel, which, I can understand that, but they're winning different. They're winning a different way. And Tennessee has a damn good defense. And I just think that, we've got a here we go. Where's Colorado? Colorado is still trying to they're still in the huddle trying to figure out how to stop trap, counter, ISO, any running play ever designed back to the Rockney days. I think they're trying to figure that out. But when it comes to that, hey, we ain't too hard to find. Yeah, well, we couldn't find your linebackers. Kansas couldn't. But yeah, whenever you give up almost, I don't know, 300 yards on the ground, that's just not a good day. So
That's pretty
whoops,
bad.
Ed hit the wrong button there, but yes, but yeah, Tennessee at 8. I don't know. I think Tennessee and Miami. That's an interesting, three, like a group of 3 teams right there, because Miami's loss is Georgia Tech. Georgia's lost to Alabama and Ole Miss, but Coach Prime cooked turkey for. Well, it was they were cooked turkey, and also he said they were intoxicated with success. I don't know what that intoxicated with success. Why didn't you just take a page out of Coach Saban's book and just call it rat poisoning?
Too much Aflac commercials,
Well, I mean, when the Neal kid had 37 carries for 207 yards and 3 tutties.
It's a lot of fantasy points.
And then he also had 4 catches for 80 yards for another receiving touchdown. So you gave up 280 yards and 4 touchdowns to one kid. It's not conducive for team success. Not good. But I think Colorado is better than what they were last year. Do I think that injecting a freshman quarterback in the Juju Lewis kid is going to completely come in and save the day? I don't think so. I think you're going to have to develop a better culture. But, anyway, enough about Colorado. They are not going to be in the playoff this year. So moving on to Indiana. Indiana, very interesting. They go from number 4 to number 9 here. That is what we got them. Do you think Indiana should have fell out of the top 12?
No, because they went into a hostile environment. There was a top 5 matchup. You can't penalize a team. In my opinion, you can't penalize a team dropping, that many spots on the rankings because they were. It was like I said, it was a top 5 matchup, and it was a hostile environment at Ohio State. I mean, I'm surprised Ohio State didn't drop that many spots when they lost to Oregon back in October.
Yeah, I find that very interesting.
Yeah, I mean Indiana. I mean, just because it's Indiana, I mean they've been playing great ball. Signetti's got something going there. Granted, I ain't gonna Google him, but they have something going there. We'll see how year 2 goes into development with the talent there and how many kids they can get out of the portal. I don't think they should drop that far. But hey,
here's Joseph makes an interesting point. I'll give you Indiana's schedule's bad, but I'll also raise you one that Texas's schedule's not any worse than Indiana's.
Texas doesn't even have a winning. They don't have a top 5 win or top 15 win against anybody.
Nope. So I think you treat Texas and Indiana the same, because if we're gonna do this, and it's gonna get weird here on 10 through 18, just because I think Indiana's perfectly rated where they're at. And this is something that I would say me and Tyler Siskey definitely agree on. Boise State's not the best group of 5 team. They're not even close. And because they started out ranked high and their only loss is Oregon, I wouldn't be shocked if they lost in their conference championship game, to be honest with you. I don't think Boise State is, outside of giving the ball 40 times to Ginchi. I don't think Boise State is the best Group of 5 team. I think it's the Tulane Green Wave going away by far.
The Green Wave.
Or Louisiana Lafayette is better than Boise State, in my opinion. So that's that. I think Tulane should be higher, and I get why they're not. They have 2 losses. Should have beat Kansas State at home, and I bet Kansas State ain't signing up to go back to Tulane anytime soon, because Ole Miss a couple years ago almost bit the bullet there, and they're like, nope, we ain't going back there. So number 11 here, SMU. A lot of people say that, SMU is a little bit overrated, but, Rhett Lashley and those guys, they're cooking on offense. And, you've got, SMU has they have a ton of money. And I think it's a big indictment on the ACC that SMU's came in there and they're pretty much wrecking shop. What say you, Richie?
I would completely agree with you on that, Duke. They are putting up almost 40 points a game in their first year in the ACC. I mean, I would love to see how they stack up against Miami, talent-wise, in the ACC. If now, let's say things happen the way they're supposed to happen. If SMU wins out, Miami wins out, and they play, I'm going with SMU, man.
Yeah, I think that SMU is is going to be a force to be reckoned with in the ACC, and the biggest thing is that their pockets are deep. That's
that
the main
oil money.
Oh yeah, the oil money, everything that's on top of that. It's a very interesting endeavor. I think that they've got going there at SMU. It's I want to see them play Miami, and then you move down a little bit, and then you go to Clemson. I know Dabo had some comments about calling it the Big Ten SEC Invitational. Well, I think that Dabo's is in a better place. That Clemson's in a better place, way better place than Florida State. I know some people will definitely disagree with me on that, but Dabo didn't get in the portal, and he doesn't have nearly the issues that a Florida State has. Neil McCready kind of coined the phrase "quit watch." Ole Miss, I know the Ole Miss is a very touchy subject right now, but you got guys running out of the locker room after fans because I don't know the whole situation. The video that I seen on Instagram just wasn't a good look, in my opinion, and I think that there's maybe some deeper issues going on there, and you got the Bentley stuff going on. It's just a very, very interesting endeavor going on at Ole Miss. So we'll see how that shakes out. But I think Clemson has a huge fight on their hands coming up because they've got
against the Cox.
Yes. South Carolina, which I'm a proponent, and a lot of people, me and Carter talked about this briefly. Me and Carter are very, very we were in tune when we were talking about teams that should be in the playoff, and I think South Carolina might sneak in there with 3 losses.
3 losses?
Mm-hmm.
You really think they're going to put a three-loss team in the playoff?
If Texas A&M beats Texas, I don't think you put A&M in, but I think they'll put South Carolina in because of circumstance on where they're at. Because
so if A&M beats Texas and A&M goes on in the SEC title game and they beat Georgia,
both Georgia and A&M would be in at that point, in my opinion. You have to put them both in because A&M winning the conference is a big deal. They have to give them an automatic bid because they won the conference.
Right. Oh, I agree.
So I just feel like that's where we're at. But we'll keep going down the list here. The Alabama Crimson Tide. What are you thinking here, Rich?
Blitz, Bama, blitz. Man, they
Are
got 3 losses.
are they're going to play Hugh Freeze and Auburn, and I think that coming off that win, they got a vintage Hugh Freeze win. That's what we're looking at here. Are the rankings out yet? No, they're not out yet. This is just what we came up with on our own, what we're projecting. And we're going to see how close we are because I think the rankings should be coming out soon. I would think.
Do you think Bama? Do you think DeBoer's already lost the locker room this year
Well,
with only putting up 3 points against Oklahoma?
I think Kalen DeBoer's problem is that he has I think he wants a different quarterback. He wants a drop back, 5-step drop and a hitch and throw the ball on time. He wants an upright pocket passing quarterback. I think that's what his offense is predicated on, i.e. Michael Penix.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Russell kid that's coming in from DeSoto, I believe. I think in 2 years that kid will be good. But yeah. Oh, that's cool, man. Appreciate it, Joseph. Appreciate you tuning in. But I just think that, the DeBoer thing is really, really wild to try to get a handle on everything that is the Alabama job, because I think Nick Saban took the Alabama job, which it was once great under Bear Bryant, and it kind of fell off, and then the Alabama was mid for the early
2000s. They were, from what I remember, that was
back in the Brody Coral days. I believe Shula was the coach.
Was it Mike Shula? Was it Mike Shula? I think it was Mike Shula.
All right, yeah, Mike Shula. Here we go. We got one. Yeah, the reason why I think Penn State, I think on that question right there, I think Penn State had a bad day, but they still won. They barely beat Minnesota at Minnesota. So I think that's kind of one of the things that we looked at, but we'll see. The first week we were pretty much dead on. The second week we were okay. Then the third week we looked like a couple of hacks. But but with that we'll see what they look like when they come out tonight. The Alabama thing is so overblown.
Yes. Just because of what Bama's been the last decade and a half.
I mean, looking at it, DeBoer is walking into like he got handed the keys of a Ferrari, and they're saying, "How about we're gonna tie a blindfold on you and give you, a racetrack and say, all right, try to figure it out at Watkins Glen with no prior experience." But I think the game is the same. I think that I think that he's got veteran coaches there and on that staff, and I also think that having Kane Womack, a former head coach, I just feel like it's a recipe that they don't. It's not that they don't have it figured out. It's just that Coach Saban had such a stranglehold on everything for so long in that state. And,
right.
A lot of people want to say Hugh Freeze is not very good. Well, go look at the top recruits in Alabama and look at how many AUs are there opposed to A's. I'm just going to leave it at that. And everybody that wants to say that, Florida ain't trending in the right direction, well, they're flipping kids, and they had a couple of pieces of the portal. They're going to be scary. Same thing with Auburn. If they can get some consistent quarterback play, you watch out for the Auburn Tigers.
Duke, do you think a lot of kids from Bama hit the portal? Or do you think some kids will hit, like, maybe 10 kids hit the portal?
I think you're going to have a bunch of kids hit the portal this year because of the House versus NCAA thing that, Siski and McCready have talked about, and something that me and Carter have talked about at length. You're going to have a scholarship limit of 105 scholarship players, and that's it. Everybody else is either going to get cut or they're going to hit the portal. So,
I mean, it's NFL free agency and college terms.
Yeah,
really. That's basically your salary cap.
Yeah, and then you have the revenue share stuff coming, and I think that's why we're not seeing too many group or Power 4 teams move on from their coaches. And real quick, let's reset the show here, and then we'll finish out the bottom row pretty much on the that, and then we have a couple little more tidbits to get to, and then I was hoping the college rankings would have been out by now, but I believe the show was supposed to start at 8, but the Maui Invitational is doing what it is. Tom Izzo screaming because he's losing, but it's not basketball season for me yet. But college basketball season doesn't start until after the first of the year. I'm sorry. I love college basketball, but it just doesn't start yet. But anyway, with that being said, we got 288 people in here right now. If you want to come on over to YouTube and hit the like and subscribe button, we're trying to grow this show as much as possible. If you guys want to come on over, ask some questions, we like to get interactive in the chat. That's one thing that we do. Our show goes. Carter was under the weather yesterday, and I had something come up. But normally we're 6 days a week during the season. Every night, 7:30. The Saturday show just depends upon scheduling or what everybody's got going on. But if you want to come on over to YouTube, hit the like and subscribe button and help us grow this show, that is what we're trying to do here. And then also, Sagario, Hubbard, Ohio, December 7th, next weekend, we are doing a live show. We are going to be there hanging out, having some cigars. And if ever anybody in the area wants to come on over, we'll be there. Hubbard, Ohio, December 7th at noon. The show is live. And, with the amount of it being championship weekend, you should probably get there early and come hang out. And we'll be there, me, Richie, and Carter. But with that being said, if everybody can hit the like and subscribe button and give us a follow on social media, everything's linked in the bio of the YouTube channel. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to blow this show up. But with that being said, Rich, any other closing thoughts on Alabama?
No, I don't have anything else with Bama. I think, well, my last thought, I think the expectations with DeBoer coming over from Washington, he's in a lose-lose situation replacing Saban. It's going to take some momentum. It's going to take some time to get his guys in there and get his philosophy down, his culture down, and hopefully, they'll turn it around come next year or a season after that. I mean, it's still Bama. They're still going to get the top talent in the country to go there.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I don't think it's, they're definitely in a better spot than what Florida State is. I'm sure if Mike Norvell had it to do over again, if he was offered that job, I wonder if he wouldn't have jetted on over to Alabama. I think that was some of the people that had an opportunity to take it. I think that that's why they didn't take it, because of the scrutiny. Everything you do is being micromanaged down to the type of shoes you wear. Do you wear a T-shirt on the sideline? I think that's all of that.
That's ridiculous,
absolute horse shit. But I just feel like it's a different program now, and I don't think people can adjust to change or um, do anything that's different because everybody likes familiarity. Um, it,
Yeah, some people they're set in their ways.
yes, so I just think that from where we're at or from where they're at to where they're going, I think that it is a very very interesting endeavor. So I think it also helps a lot that he has Kane Womack, their former head coach, to lean on. But with that, Kenny Dillingham in the Arizona Sun Devils, number 14. Do you agree or disagree?
I agree with that. Forks up, baby.
Cam Scadaboo signed an autograph. I think it was a little dumb on his part, but I'm definitely going to sound like old man yelling at the clouds. Get me a rocking chair. So, but um, we got a lot of this going on. They put a big damper on the field storming, and this is twice now happened to Kenny Dillingham. Um, Texas State was another time that they thought the game was over. They ran the timeout and it didn't happen. And BYU was another thing. I think it's interesting. Was there a second left? Yes. Did it give him one play? Yes. But it's Kenny Dillingham's.
Did it make a difference? No.
It didn't, but it could have. I could see where it's an issue where BYU didn't play well. That's why you don't see them in our top 18. The college football ranking show is just now starting. We'll have to see how close we are on this, but the we're gonna get it, all of that, and they're definitely got the whole made for TV thing going. But I definitely agree that old Kenny Dillingham should be in there. Should they be ranked ahead of Alabama? Ooh, that's a hard argument at this point. But did they get a huge win at home? Yes. Is Cam Scadaboo a beast? Yes, very much so. So that's where we're at here. So I guess that I'm trying to figure out what Reese Davis is doing, because I would think that they would get this show on the road because they are 25 minutes behind. But that's just me. And then it comes to the South Carolina Gamecocks. What are your thoughts on the Gamecocks?
Good old Gamecocks. Well, Clemson's got a tough opponent come this weekend. Let me see. I haven't watched. I mean, when they played, who'd they play? Was it Mississippi? That blackout. What game was that? Where the stadium was just ridiculous.
Texas A&M.
A&M. That's what. Yeah. Okay.
Is that the last time you got to watch a full South Carolina game?
Yeah, I think that was the last time we ever watched it, when we were, because I had it on the multi-view, and that place looked rock. I mean, that place was rocking. They gotta go to Clemson. I don't know, man. That's a toss-up.
Give me South Carolina. Give me the Gamecocks. I will be the mayor of Cocktown.
Yeah, you have at it.
So
would I love them to upset Clemson? Oh yeah, I'd love for them to upset Clemson at Clemson.
Well, I get it. You're a Dabo hater, but I am not so much. I don't think Dabo is the be all end all. For some people that they just don't like him because he doesn't use the transfer portal. But then again, I raise you Florida State, Ole Miss, all were heavily in the portal. So they got to explain the whole college football playoff thing at the beginning of every show.
Like, I mean, really?
Why? That is so dumb. But anyway, I think South Carolina, I think you could make an argument because their only losses are they got stomped by Ole Miss at home.
And they almost beat Bama.
And they almost beat Bama because of some interesting circumstances, but I just don't think that. Yeah, leave it up. Leave the graphic up, Ed. But yeah, so this is where we're at. But Iowa State next team in line.
Matt Campbell and the Cyclones.
What are your thoughts? Do you think that they have a fighting chance
against Kansas State?
Mm-hmm. Okay, it's kicked off. Colorado, number 25. We didn't rank them.
Kansas State, 24.
But I think it's a puncher's chance. I think Ole Miss is dead in the water, and I think Tulane should be ranked higher. Those are my two thoughts.
Yeah,
Illinois is jumping in there.
Oh boy, the fighting Burt Bielmas.
Yeah,
that guy blocked me on Twitter for some reason. I think my buddy came at him, and I liked the tweet, and he ended up blocking me. I'm like, what the hell did I do?
UNLV 22. That's very interesting.
Missouri.
Missouri's 21?
Yeah.
I think they're just absolutely done. I like Drink and those guys, but I just think they're absolutely done.
A&M 20.
Okay. This is just a lot of wait and see right now, but I'm surprised Texas A&M at 20.
BYU 19.
Really, BYU only fell 7 spots?
5.
Or 5?
Yeah.
Would they have them 14?
Yeah. Iowa State 18.
Then that means Tulane's higher.
$17. Tulane.
So
we kind of. I mean, we're right. We're in the ballpark.
I don't know. Tulane moves up 3 spots. Iowa State moves up 4 spots. That's circumstance.
Ooh,
so
Arizona State at 16. They're up 5 spots.
See, that was something that we talked about last week was, would Tulane get ranked higher than Arizona State? And Arizona State 16. I would say it'll be Ole Miss 15.
We got the Cox at 15.
Cox at 15. So we are right on. I bet Alabama 14, Ole Miss 13.
Ole Miss will be 14. You watch.
I don't know. Bama only put up a field goal, man.
That's Bama.
Who is 14? We are waiting to see.
Oh, come on, Reese Davis. Ole Miss 14.
Ole Miss 14. Wow. So then Bama's 13. They'd have to be, right?
Yeah, they would have to be.
I think we're getting there. We're almost there until we get to the top 12. Rich had to step away for a second. But if you could come over to YouTube and hit that like and subscribe button, that would help us tremendously. The college football ranking show, Alabama 13. So we are, of course, we got to take a break before we get to the top 12.
Blitz, Bama, blitz.
Alabama 13.
I just saw that.
This is where we're at, Rich. We have a shot to get. We have a.
I mean, dude, it's looking pretty good. I mean, yeah. We got the bottom 5 right. I'm sorry, I can't fucking count.
But not in the right order.
Not in the right order, but we're in the vicinity of it.
Yes. Who is going to be 12? Is it Clemson?
Yep, Clemson.
So I'm just saying that, the graphic that's been put out, I mean, we're pretty good. Is SMU going to be 11? This is
SMU.
is it
Let me see.
SMU?
I don't know. I'm speculating. They haven't ran it through yet.
I don't know why we're talking about this, but I mean, Clemson did get that big win on the road at Pitt. I was there for that. That was a very,
Boise
very
11.
Boise 11. Okay.
So SMU's got to be 10.
So, yeah, SMU would be 10 then. Could we get the top 9 right? That is the question.
Genty, man, that kid's gonna be special come next year in the NFL.
I think if he goes to the right spot, I think if he ends up with Harbaugh, yeah, he'll be great.
Which Harbaugh?
Jim.
Yeah, because JK just went down. Was it what day? Is it Tuesday?
Yeah.
Shit, dude. Duke, the last weeks, all the days have ran together for me.
Oh, I totally understand, Rich. Totally understand. But Clemson up 5 spots.
IU at 10.
Indiana at 10?
Why? Why? Because
Indiana at 10 is wild. I mean, we had them at 9. They only fell 4 spots.
SMU
or 5
9.
spots.
SMU 9.
Ooh, the committee's putting a lot of they're valuing SMU more. Me and Carter had this argument like 2 weeks ago about the ACC getting multiple teams in, and I said, well, what's the case for SMU? Because their only loss is on the road I believe on the road at BYU.
Tennessee 8.
So
Georgia 7.
Tennessee 8.
I'm thinking Georgia 7.
So we could possibly have the top 7 right. I'm not shocked with Tennessee at 8. The only thing they have to do is win and they're in.
Oh man, I got a cramp in my foot.
Would that be the biggest Tennessee? Would that be the most Tennessee thing ever to go on the road at Vandy and lose in Nashville?
Oh, that would be
and not make the playoff.
Georgia 7.
We are cooking.
We are cooking with grease. Love it. We need to start putting these on DraftKings.
Yeah, they need to. Because I mean, I would like to see it full bore, but I mean, this is what it's been up to. I'm shocked that they have SMU at 9. I really am. I can't believe
too. I can't believe it either.
Will Miami be 6 or will it be Penn
Miami
State?
is 6.
Miami is 6. This is the top 5. Will we have the top 5 right? Did Notre Dame do enough against Army to get the bump over Penn State? I mean, nobody's probably going to give us credit on this, but, we were kind of first to the party on this deal.
Hey, that's right.
Even though I totally forgot to put it on Instagram. But it was on TikTok early, though, so.
Notre Dame 5.
I figured that they wouldn't bump Notre Dame over Penn State. I didn't think they would have. It was just par for the course by them. So Notre Dame moves up 1 spot. Penn State stays.
It's going to be 4.
Texas 3, Ohio State 2, Oregon 1. But could you imagine in a parallel universe where they would leapfrog, Ohio State would leapfrog Oregon?
Yeah. Penn State 4.
Yeah, you're just a fuzz ahead of me.
Texas 3, Buckeyes 2, Ducks probably 1.
Yeah.
Yep. Hey, not bad.
Yeah, we got it.
So first round.
Yep, Ohio State 2. That is. I'm just waiting to see the bracket on how the bracket falls into place.
So Boise at 4 seed, Oregon 1 seed, Miami 3, Texas 2, Arizona State 12. They're going to have to come to Columbus in the snow. Georgia at 8, Penn State 6, Notre Dame 7.
Yeah, they're not. For some reason, they're not filling them in right away.
Yeah.
So Georgia would get a home game, Penn State home game, Notre Dame home game, and Ohio State home game.
Tennessee at Georgia, Indiana at Penn State, SMU at Notre Dame.
And then you would neutral site it for the next. That's not.
It's not bad.
I don't like Indiana Penn State. I would much rather them flip flop Indiana and Tennessee. I'd rather see Tennessee Penn State than in Indiana Georgia than Tennessee Georgia again. We've already seen that. So, but
yeah, I agree with you there.
Clemson, the first team out. Dabos.
And Bama, the second team out.
All right, Rich. Before we close the show out, Kent State 0, Buffalo 26. The Flashes are looking like they are going to secure a winless season. So
breaks my heart.
So
poor Golden Flashes.
Maybe next year they can
double their win total.
Double the win total. So, but what was your overall takeaway from the CFP playoff?
I think we're pretty right on. I am with the rankings. I agree with you that Tennessee should go to Penn State, Indiana at Georgia. We've already seen that matchup.
Yeah, I don't.
ESPN being SEC ESPN, that's gonna draw the ratings. That's gonna draw the SEC fans and everything. So that's not that's what I think. To me, I wish you could see they would have different matchups. That's my thing.
Yeah, I would like to kind of see some very different matchups, and then that's what it is. It's not looking good. We got football on all this week. Not sure what the content schedule is going to be. I'm sure me and Carter are going to be going tomorrow. I don't know about Thursday or Friday for that matter just yet. We might do something, might not. Just
you said Saturday?
Yeah, definitely go on Saturday.
I will not be able to. I don't think, because I'm going to the game.
Yeah, so that is.
Did you hear Baker's suing his dad's company?
Yes, I did see that. For
Mill. And yeah, I think it's him and his brother.
Yeah, something wonky going on there. So there you have it, folks. I think we did a great job. Shout out to Carter. He worked a lot on the CFP, far more than everybody else, and he was a little under the weather this week. So, I think going forward, we'd like to get a gauge on the off season. You guys want to show every single night, 5 nights a week? Put it in the comments and let us know if you reach the end of the video. Put it in the comments. That would help us gauge the entertainment here. And we have almost 315 people watching. As we close the show out here, every Tuesday, me and Richie have been doing the selection show. We've had a graphic to go with it. So we've been pretty spot on, not way far off, except except the 1 week that they just basically copy and pasted the AP, and that was that. But with that being said, we got the live show at Cigarro, Hubbard, Ohio, December 7th. We're going to be there right outside of Youngstown. It's going to be a blast. Championship weekend. The Big Ten and all these conference championship games are going to be kicking off on Saturday. We got that rolling. And then with anything else, just come on over, hit the like and subscribe. That would be great. That helps us grow this thing. We're trying to blow this thing up as much as possible and trying to do some different things so we can get this as a more legitimate show. Looking for some sponsors as well. But with that being said, Richie, you got anything else?
Nope. Just counting down till Saturday, my man. Can't wait. I've been marking it on my calendar since last year when my little girl was born on that. Well, it was bittersweet. My little girl just turned 1 yesterday, but it was the day we lost those pricks up north. Yep. So I'm hoping, in the words of the greatest actor Denzel Washington from the movie Man on Fire, revenge is a dish best served cold, and it's coming Saturday.
Yes, that is very, very true. But with that being said, everybody, I got nothing. Hit the like and subscribe. Help us blow this thing up, and give us a follow on social media so you be privy to all the action and turn on the bell notification. So with that being said, everybody have a good night.
Have a good night, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
Yep, thank you.